Welcome to the Double A Sports Podcast. Here are your hosts, Alan and Alan.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 31 of the Double A Sports Podcast. We are your hosts, Alan and Alan.
What's going on, everyone?
What's up, man?
Not much, getting almost near baby time.
Oh, yeah. It's
like
coming up.
Yeah, like my mom said, we're on baby watch now because she has a feeling it's in 2 weeks, which...
Who has a feeling?
My mom.
Why is that?
Well, because how far along Kirsten is and how she's acting, and I'm like, well, we do think she could be 2 weeks ahead than what the doctor said. Because the whole time, Zoe's been measuring 2 weeks ahead.
Okay.
And Kirsten can't remember exactly when her last cycle was to actually verify.
Gotcha.
So, and then we did the ultrasound right before the baby shower 2 weeks ago. She was almost already 6 pounds. So if that's the case, about what week? So could be a lot sooner than we were thinking. So
all right. Well,
we'll try to finish up everything this week to have everything ready.
Absolutely.
So just in case. So
all right. Make sure she gets that epidural.
Oh, she is now because.
Well, I already know. Look. When she first said she wasn't going to go, I was like, you're going to get it. I don't want to hear it. Everybody gets it.
With that little bit of labor pain she's starting to get, she's like, if this is what it feels like, I'm definitely getting epidural. I'm like, I told you.
Yeah, make sure you don't wait too long because I think Chrissy waited a little too late. She's like, give it to me now. I was like,
no.
Yeah, you might as well get it while you can. That way it's
Do
easy.
it now.
Exactly.
I'm not dealing with her.
All right. Well, let's get into some baseball news this week. The first thing on our list is Tervor Bauer Cleats.
So we all know Tervor Bauer's been an outspoken guy and he's out there. Well, he had these cleats. I guess this was supposed to be the cleats he was supposed to wear. What was it? The weekend they got coronavirus. So everything got pushed back. So Tuesday, Wednesday, because Tuesday game was postponed. Wednesday they did a doubleheader. So he was starting the Wednesday night game, the second game. Well, he debuted these cleats because now this year MLB allows you to do whatever to your cleats.
Okay.
As long as it's not political or offensive.
So then why is this political or offensive?
Apparently, it's whatever Rob Manfred doesn't want. Is that if it's okay with him, you can wear it. If he doesn't like it, no.
Oh, that sounds crazy to me.
So, yeah, the cleats had, Joe Kelly's pouty face on one, and the other one said, "Free Joe Kelly."
Yeah, they were pretty sweet. I even saw somebody in one of the groups even got a tattoo of Joe Kelly's face just like that. That's funny.
So, of course, Kelly was banned 8 games, then, of course, got reduced. So I guess it's something that's political that, with the suspension of a pouty face, I don't know. But it's...
Well, I think Tervor Bauer even offered to mail them to Carrera or somebody.
After the game, he tweeted because to Carrera, like, just give me an address, I'll send it to you. But, him and Joe Kelly figured something out for his merchandise brand. That there's the shirt, I'll put the picture if you're on YouTube, what the shirt looks like. All proceeds go to Joe Kelly's charity.
Nice.
It's like Joe Kelly's face as a goat.
Nice.
So it's pretty funny. But, it's sad that, you get freedom to, make baseball fun and something interactive. And then you get scrutinized because literally they were going to suspend him if he started the game with those cleats on.
That's crazy.
And hurt his teammates because they probably would have forfeited the loss or the win or something. Somewhere along the line, they explained what was going to happen.
Yeah, baseball definitely needs to get with the times. You got to let players express themselves, and I don't see anything wrong with those cleats. I don't know if you've seen a picture of them, but there's nothing offensive about them at all. Unless you're a Nationals fan, I guess.
It's just, I think, because it's saying that he shouldn't have been suspended.
Well, what else I saw about Tervor Bauer is when he was pitching, he struck somebody out, and then he just went to proceed to chug a fake beer.
Oh, yes, yesterday. So he was most likely would have been my pitcher of the week if he didn't get roughed up and finally get his first loss yesterday.
Yeah.
But after that game, he pitched the complete game because it was a doubleheader. His ERA was down to 0.6 for the season, and ridiculous. So he finally got lit up. But Budweiser said if he had that between that start and then the start yesterday, if he had 14 strikeouts, they would send beer to Cincinnati. And since he, of course, did it, that's when he popped the can and chug because he knew exactly how many Ks he needed. And after also he put buds in the back of the pitching mound.
Very cool.
So, he's out there, but, he's trying to make baseball fun for people. So we'll see if he tries to push envelope again and baseball pushes back again.
Yeah, okay.
So the next thing is, we thought we were almost in the clear with this coronavirus team outbreak. Then, unfortunately, our very own Mets Thursday got hit with the coronavirus scare.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't too terrible. I think it was one staff member, one player got the virus. I don't know if they named anybody.
They didn't, but with the two people they put on IR
That's
today,
what I was saying. Jimenez,
it's one of them or Nito.
Right. Somebody got hit with it.
Yeah.
And I got to assume it's Jimenez because he's been playing great. So there's no other reason to put him on a DL.
Yeah, so
in my opinion.
Unless one of them technically got it too. Like that was the other one that it was a late scratch, but it's kind of weird that they both got placed on IR today.
Right. With undisclosed injuries. Exactly.
So we knew it's got to be one of them.
And I think we were supposed to play the Yankees in a series.
So yeah, Thursday would have been the final game of the 4-game series with the Miami Marlins, which we were going for the sweep.
Yep.
It was going to be Lugo's first start, finally as a starter in a couple years. It's like, okay, we look promising. And then we had we're host the Yankees last weekend. Of course, all that got postponed. And they finally got to work out yesterday at Citi Field. And then, of course, we're playing a doubleheader today to make up the Thursday game with Miami since we are playing Miami the next 3 days.
Yep.
And then with the Yankees coming, we're supposed to play this weekend coming up at Yankees. We have 2 doubleheaders, both Friday and Sunday, a regular game Saturday. And then the following week, we make up the Yankees at Citi Field for the other game.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I'm just glad I wasn't more than, a couple players because, if we were stuck in a Miami Marlins situation or like the Cardinals and we were done for like a couple weeks or something, that'd be very hard to make up now.
Yeah, and so pretty much the close people in the circle who was around the player to whoever it was stayed in Miami. Everyone else got to fly home, 2 days of testing. Everyone came back negative, but they still couldn't work out, leave their house. Like we've seen Tervor Bauer's vlogs, is you do testing and you go home. That's the only thing you're allowed to do.
Yeah.
So they finally got to stretch and do some workouts, and it was staggered workouts yesterday. So not like everyone came at once to start working out. It's, MLB's probably getting more worried the closer and closer this is getting.
Oh, that should be,
season.
Especially if we get to playoffs. What are you going to do if a playoff team gets COVID?
I really think the bubble's going to have to happen.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't like the long breaks because, I'm not going to say it's the break, but the Mets aren't looking great right now as we speak.
Yeah, because it probably was a little bit helped both the Yankees and the Mets out.
Yeah.
Because Yankees are dealing with some injuries, so they recalled Judge was most likely going to come back Saturday anyways, but now he did miss no games against the Mets, so he gets those 3 games back.
Right, and the only benefit I could see of it helping the Mets is they were on a 19 straight day game set, and now they got a little break from it. But at the same time, they look a little rusty.
Yeah, Pacello started the game, the first doubleheader today. It was 8 days. He's used to his 5 days.
Exactly.
Since 2015, they were saying he has not missed a start. So this is probably threw him off maybe a little bit, and it's just weird probably for, you're getting emotion. Then you get this, at least it's not a big break like St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a quick little weekend, we'll get everything straight. Now we go back to baseball. But, with the Mets playing 9 games the next 6 days, thanks to doubleheaders, it really will thin out the rotation depth with how many extra, doubleheaders we have coming up.
All right, yeah. I mean, we'll definitely see how this affects the Mets. Hopefully this is the end of the COVID situation. But like I said, if we get closer to playoffs and you start getting teams with COVID symptoms, we're going to have a real issue.
Big issue.
I mean, I don't know how they're going to go about that because that'd be crazy. Especially if it's like, let's say the Dodgers get in number 1 seed and other ones with COVID. What are you going to do? You just can't not play.
Here soon there won't be able to reschedule and doubleheaders since we're going into last month.
Exactly.
Then it's going to go to percentage.
Right.
Which most likely St. Louis is going to have to come down to. But here on out, it is probably look, we try to make up as most of the games we could, but it'll be adjusting schedules because I think the makeup day that we host the Yankees, I believe when I looked at the schedule, we were off that day, but the Yankees weren't.
Okay.
So they moved the Yankee schedule that they're supposed to play the Orioles that day to making them do a doubleheader against the Orioles so they can make up the game against the Mets.
Right. So all the teams are starting to get put in binds. They're got to get prepared for games they weren't ready for. Well, we'll see how it goes. We'll keep an eye on it. Obviously, this affects more than one team when it happens.
Yes.
So their next topic is this week was Kobe's birthday, and some teams showed their love.
Yeah, August 23rd is Kobe Bryant's, would have been his 42nd birthday. Of course, the Dodgers honor him being, L.A. The Dodgers, he was a Dodgers fan. Of course, L.A., but he grew up a Mets fan. But Still, most of the Dodger players donned either Kobe Bryant's number 8 or number 24 jersey during a tribute video on the field, narrated by Vince Scully.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, Kobe demonstrated that he was a man of many talents. He was a champion, a mentor, a creative force, and advocate. Kobe was a husband, father of 4 wonderful girls. The warrior that he knew that was the Black Mamba was a sweetheart to his wife and proud girl dad. So it was a nice tribute video. I watched it. I really liked it. So it was really nice and touching. And then, of course, the next day is kind of funny that the next day is 8/24, his 2 numbers. So now it's kind of like a Kobe day. Like, man, how close can you be to your birthday?
Right. Well, and also everybody started seeing it. It reminds me of that Jim Carrey movie, the number, whatever that number was. But like
7 or something.
Whatever. You kept seeing it. Well, we keep seeing 28 or 24 and 8 or whatever.
Yeah.
LeBron. Or the
Lakers game
right.
on Kobe Bryant Day. Of course, they wore the black jerseys that Bryant
designed
the season before, which is rumored they're going to play that the rest of this playoff series once they get past the first round is rumored. But during the game, they were up 24-8.
Exactly. It's pretty crazy.
It's just crazy. And then they finished the first half with 80 points. Only need 1 more point for Kobe's record for the most in the game. It's just something like that. It's just like it's just weird situation. But other players, of course, like Bryce Harper wore his black Kobe jersey underneath his jersey on Kobe Bryant's day. And then, of course, other posted on media like Robinson Cano, Mookie Betts, and other players went to social media to give their appreciation to Kobe. It's still in everyone's heart that, we lost him months ago, and it's still weird and crazy when you think about it.
I know, man. It's been a crazy year in general. Everything's been going on this
that's
year.
what started. Between that and then the Australian fires, this is when it's kind of like, and then COVID, and
then the killer wasps or whatever.
Murder hornets.
Yeah, that's it.
And then speaking of disasters of 2020,
yeah,
we have the Astros and Angels got to move around their schedule because of 2 tropical storms hitting the same area almost in days apart.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think Tropical Storm Laura is going to be
a major factor now,
right? And that changed their schedule. So I think they had a game on Thursday, but they changed it to a doubleheader today.
Yeah,
correct.
So
they moved it up so they can get it done before the storm comes.
Yep, and then also the Wednesday game that was scheduled for later in the evening is now going to be a day game, so they can get the game done and then get out of town.
Out of town, yep.
So most likely that should be done because, like we said, schedule's hard. Like, they do play the Astros in L.A. later in the season, but they also could figure something out if there's an off day when they play the Dodgers. I mean, Houston, when they go to the Dodgers, like, figure something out, but it's so tight. Like, let's just go ahead and move this. And it's crazy because they were going to hit within both the same time, but Laura slowed up, and that's why it's going to be Category 2 now, probably.
Right.
And it's going to cause some damage. So who knows if even Astros can get back to the stadium.
That's what I'm saying. So if the Astros can't get back to their stadium, I don't know what they're going to do. But this will absolutely affect the Texas teams in general.
Yeah. And, man, in St. Louis, like, not St. Louis, but, New Orleans and stuff.
I know.
Every year I feel like they get just pummeled, and Kirsten has family there. I'm just like, wow, they get tropical storm, which look, it broke up, so that wasn't probably too bad. But now seeing this Category 2 come up, like making landfall probably near you.
Yeah, ugh. I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, Category 2s don't affect us over here in Virginia because we're used to them. But at the same time, yeah, they can make some big damage down there in the Gulf. But speaking of the Angels, let's get into Mike Trout. Last week we told you guys that Trout had a card that was for sale. It was his rookie card, and it was going for a pretty penny. Well, it looks like it broke records.
Yeah. So 2 weeks ago we talked about how, like, early in the season, the same card, but when there was a variant of 5 different ones sold for almost $1 million. That was a record. Then we said, like, LeBron James rookie card broke the modern record for that. It sold for $1.8 million. And we're like, can this rookie card of, not rookie, but pre-rookie card of Trout make it as a one-on-one?
The man did it.
And did it. It not only broke the modern, it broke the record.
I mean, this will make you want to collect cards. If I could find a card worth this much, I mean, we wouldn't be talking right now.
So, the 1909 Wagner card is the grail of baseball collectors. Most recently, highest graded version sold for $3.1 million back in 2016.
Okay.
So the Trout card that was purchased by collector Dave and Casina only 2 years ago, he paid $400,000 for this card. So in 2 years, and he made a video I saw online that he said, watch, in 5 to 10 years, this card's going to be worth $5 million. Well, it didn't take that long because it sold for a record $3.84 million.
Wow.
But also, you buyer's premium added the final price total as $3.936 million for that 101 2009 Bowman Chrome Superfractor.
That's nuts. That's crazy.
Crazy.
I mean, if you got money to blow like that, that's good for you.
I
But
figured like maybe 2. Like I was like, okay, look, LeBron's card went for 1.8. 2 would probably be good for Trout.
yeah, but it blows my mind because you're getting a card that's a modern day card selling for $4 million. We're not talking about Babe Ruth here. We're talking about a Mike Trout still playing in the game card.
Yeah, like in his prime.
Like nothing's solidified for him.
So this is like, I predict he doesn't get hurt, and I hope like he becomes the greatest ever.
Exactly.
Like, it is, wow. Like, I hope this guy had the money. Like, this is going to be a long-term
I'm sure
investment.
they had to have the money. They're not blowing $4 million if they ain't got it.
Like, think of the guy who sold it for $400,000 2 years ago.
Well,
Man, like, he
I'm
thought
sure
like that was a pretty penny.
It was a good deal still for him.
Yeah, but you think about now with this year with these rookie cards and everything, maybe Gary V's onto something with these sports cards.
Oh, no.
Popping back up real quick.
Absolutely. I know for a fact that cards are back in after the Dr. Fossey card was the most sold Topps card in the 48 hours because they created the card after it happened, and in 48 hours it had the most sold of that kind of card because they do it for different events. Anything that happens in baseball, sometimes Topps comes out with a card.
Yeah.
Well, after it sold, people are up here on eBay trying to sell this card for $900, $9,000. They're trying to sell for a lot of money. Yeah.
I knew some people that flipped a good amount and made like $3,000 off those Fossey cards.
Exactly.
Which I don't believe because how much it got printed.
Exactly. Well, you still think it might have sold what? I'm not sure how many sold originally, but it's still a limited batch.
Yeah. So if you think about it, in February, a LeBron James, Michael Jordan card with pieces of game-worn jersey from both players sold for $900,000, which was the record. And then we said that Trout card just beat it barely, set another record at just over $900,000. Then we said the LeBron card went for $1.8 million, and now the Trout at $3.9 million.
I know. I can't even wrap my head around it. That's nuts.
It's nuts. God. If I didn't stop there for a little bit collecting cards.
Yeah, maybe we would have got lucky and gotten one of those.
Right, but it's insane. Like, it's all luck. It's another thing of gambling nowadays.
Absolutely.
Opening these expensive packs and hope for a good card, and sometimes you do get some stuff, sometimes you don't. So, anyway, but also with some Angels news, we'll talk briefly. Pujols finally broke the RBI record.
Yeah, he passed A-Rod. Yep.
We knew that was going to be one this season. That was
Easily.
definite.
Yeah, that was going to happen regardless.
So it's just weird when you talk about now only people standing in front of him is now Babe Ruth and then also Hank Aaron.
Yeah. If you guys haven't forgotten, Pujols is a beast. I know some of the younger guys who are watching the game these days, I mean, they've seen Pujols for a couple years now, and he hasn't been the greatest guy in the world, nothing you go run home about. But when you saw him playing in the Cardinals uniform, man, he was la máquina.
Man, like, who knows what would happen if he never left the Cardinals?
I agree. I mean,
that team was right there in the World Series, and
at the end of that, he signed a really good contract to leave.
Did he?
So yeah. So I mean, everybody,
he got his rings. He wanted to get paid. So
exactly, I get it. Production did slow down, but you know what? Pujols is still pretty good in my opinion.
Yeah. So the biggest now question with him, how close can he get to the home run record?
I know that's going to be a tough one,
and especially with this shortened season, that's not going to help.
Definitely not helping him out.
So
he needed a full season.
It depends on how much more he plays, what's his average per year. So we'll see if we can get a hold of that. So we'll keep it.
He still wants to play after his contract's up.
Yeah.
The question is, who's going to sign him? If the NL sticks with the DH, he has a better chance of getting on a team. But my only thing is, I mean, he's doing okay in my opinion. But if he starts slowing production, you don't want to see a guy go 162 games hitting 10 home runs a year. Now, that's not what you want to see.
He needs to average at least 20-something.
That's a bad way to go down. If he's still averaging 20-something, he's still productive.
Yeah. So we'll keep an eye on that. But then Phillies are starting to make some noise with some trades these last few days.
Yeah. So the Phillies and the Red Sox apparently got into a little bit of trade action, mostly involving pitchers.
Yeah, so Phillies added 3 players to their bullpen with trades. First, it started Friday afternoon with team acquiring David Hall from the Yankees, exchanged for a relief prospect, Addison Russ. This move perhaps is more than what others think the Phillies trying to contend with a short season, as they shipped off a solid prospect with a high ceiling for a 32-year-old bullpen with just 2 years of arbitration remaining. But then the bigger deal was, like we said, with Phillies making a deal Friday night, as they're getting plummeted by the Braves, with getting Brandon Workman and Heath Himbell, and plus some cash and a player to be a neighbor from the Red Sox for 2 prospects.
Yeah, so in exchange, they got right-hand pitcher Nick Pivetta and minor league right-hand pitcher Connor Siebold. So, I mean, I like what they're doing because currently the Phillies bullpen has the worst ERA in the MLB at a 7.97. And think about that. You're not winning games like that. I don't care if Bryce Harper's sitting there hitting dingers every time he comes up. Yeah. If your bullpen's got an 8 ERA, come on, man.
Yeah. So Workman is the bigger name out of the deal because he actually has velocity, which no one has in that bullpen for Philly. Hannibal fastball averaged about 94 over the last 4 seasons. That's harder than every Phillies pitcher except for newcomer Zach Wheeler.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. So that's how the pitching has been for Philly.
Okay.
So we'll see if that helps. But then, Brandon technically took a loss his first game with the Phillies coming out of the bullpen.
Well, it happens.
So we'll see. But that's going to be the biggest factor with him in the next week or so before this trade deadline. Like, do we need to make more moves?
Well, speaking of the trade deadline, what do you think?
So, like I was just saying with Philly, there's just a couple other teams that this week will decide if we're going to be contenders, pretenders, buyers, sellers.
Yep.
So, if you're really looking at it, Angels, Mariners, Red Sox, and Pirates are all guaranteed sellers at this point. Then you have other teams, like possibly where Rangers, they've been up and down. Tigers. They're taking a slide. Orioles are starting to take a slide a little bit. Could they refix things? Reds is that interesting. Phillies, and also now the Rockies.
Okay,
is that team where they're sliding? Like, can we fix this? Do we need something to fix to get one bullpen guy, extra outfield help, something? So it's gonna be interesting this next week. Really, I would say through Saturday, because then you're gonna need 2 days to start calling these teams and figure out deals.
Yeah, I mean, the one team that sticks out to me is the Tampa Bay Rays. The former Devil Rays, they are pretty aggressive right now, according to Buster Olney. I mean, we got 6 days. Is it 6 days left?
Monday at 4 p.m.
Yeah, so they got if they're going to make it happen, this is the time to do it now. And like I said, there's other teams out there that can get it done. But I mean, so the trade deadline's coming in a week away. Who's untouchable?
Untouchable? Like, what we're hearing is Brewers are open to trade Josh Harder.
Okay.
But it has to be for a banana return.
Exactly. Yep.
And, of course, he has multiple years left in arbitration, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, if you guys are like last year deal, they're going to be nothing. It's going to be where it's like cash and a player to be named later prospect kind of thing. Untouchables, if your team's, like Red Sox, for example, everyone's on the line to being reported, except for Bogarts is what we're hearing, and then the guy that just got Alex from Virgo, and then Rafael Devers. Apparently, them 3 you cannot touch for the Red Sox. Everyone else is up for grabs at the right price.
Okay. So if everybody's up for grabs, I'm trying to think of what teams. What do they really need right now?
So we said something last week with, like Rockies could use a center fielder, and then there's Jackie Bradley Jr.
Yeah.
Defensive center fielder, if you need someone like that, that's a guy. He's expiring contract, so he's probably going to be cheap.
Okay.
J.D. Martinez is the biggest piece you could think about that could be the biggest name moved at the trade deadline unless something else happens. But he could technically opt out this offseason again. But as we've seen the last couple offseasons, he has not, because he's not going to get the money that he is under contract for if he opts out and re-signs somewhere. So what's the haul? Like, what kind of were you going to take? Because, what seems like to me, Red Sox are about to pull, what was it, like the 2015-16 White Sox when they just dumped everyone and started fresh. I feel like that's what Red Sox are about to do with this organization.
Okay.
So between this trade deadline and then this offseason, you're going to be seeing a lot of players moved, expiring contracts, because they really, I think, if I remember correctly, they have no really pitching in Boston right now beyond 2022 under contract.
Wow.
So they're about to go real young, real soon with their new president and everything.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, other teams that I'm thinking of are like the Mariners. They're one of the teams I think could be sellers.
Yeah. Some people feel like there's a couple pieces there they could sell.
Like Taiwan Walker.
Yes.
4.0 ERA in 5 starts. He's got 8 walks, 25 strikeouts, 27 innings. Buster Olney says he's guaranteed he's going to be traded. He thinks it's going to happen. That guy.
Yeah, because he was on a 1-year deal. He's proven to be decent. So the haul to return can't be too much.
Yeah.
So teams, which I can feel like if they need to take one little trade to help out, I think the Mets should go get him. Yankees already checked in on him. Of course, Yankees is talking around to everyone about some pitching to see what's out there because they need rotation help.
Well, you know who else needs rotation help? The Braves.
Yes.
They are absolutely looking for rotation help. They got the 26th best rotation in ERA, but they also have a 91% chance of making the playoffs right now.
Yeah, because they are leading our division very strong. So I think Yankees will flip at least one of their young guys, either Frazier or Miguel Aguilar, for a pitcher.
Sure.
That could be Cueto, expiring contract with the Giants. They could use one of those young guys. Could they flip to one of the Cleveland guys that we talked about last week? Could Frazier go back to Cleveland where he was a prospect originally?
Okay, I could see that.
Or you can talk to the Pirates. Do they have someone to take some young guys?
Yeah, I'm sure the Pirates would love to trade somebody away.
Yeah. I see what Braves is going to do is try to get Clevenger from Cleveland.
Okay.
Because clearly, the Braves have prospects. And they need pitching now. So you can look at them trading possibly one of their, impact outfielder prospects to solidify because Cleveland needs outfield help.
Okay. Well, the teams that need outfield help, what if they don't have to trade necessarily? Like you said, there are some outfielders still out there in free agency.
Yes.
But, I mean, if you are stacked with outfielders and you need something in return, this would be a good time to do it. But I don't see any issues with bringing up some minor leaguers at this point for your outfield just to give them a test rather than trading. Unless you got somebody who's worth it, it makes sense. Because, like I said, it's such a short season. I would hate to make the bad trade.
Yeah, because it's got to make sense to where, okay, this guy's in a contract for 2 more, 3 more years. Okay, let's try to make a push this year and see what we can get, which we've seen more of that. Because last year, like we said, Mets took a chance on Marcus Stroman for last year and the rest of this year. Who else did? Oh, Reds traded for Trevor Bauer for the rest of last year and then this year. So it's can we go take the chance? If we're close, let's get this guy. And we have next year's too to figure out if this could be a guy to future, just do a contract. Or we try to flip him again for something. Another guy I'd see, this is not a trade I can see actually happening maybe this trade deadline, but I can see it possibly happening in the offseason, is Josh Bell to the Nationals.
Oh, okay.
They need first baseman help. Pirates are rebuilding. They could use some prospects.
And you think this would be a good trade for the Nationals long term?
Long term because
Zimmerman is probably coming
back probably for 1 more year or so.
You're right.
And you think he can be that DH spot if the DH sticks.
I think he would make sense.
So Josh Bell being an all-star, that rotation first base is hard to be an all-star in the National League for first baseman. He has been either a starter or alternate his very few years. But why not? But it's going to be what they're going to want in return because he is the star on the team right now for Pirates. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. So another team like we talked about earlier, because it could be sellers, is the Angels.
Yeah, absolutely. The Angels have a lot of infielders they can get rid of.
Infielders, and they could flip a trade pitcher that they got during the offseason for possible more prospects.
Who's that?
Dylan Bundy.
Oh, Dylan Bundy. Okay.
He has been strong this year. It's do we flip him for more prospects or something that can help us down the road, or do we hold on for him? I think he only has 1 more year in arbitration.
It depends. Is he going to be an asset next year? Because if he is, you guys already went out there and got Rendon. You can't just start giving away players. You got to build around Trout. So I think if Dylan Bundy's a good fit with the Angels, I would keep him. But if you can get something in return that would help you out next season, go for it.
Yeah, because report is they're getting multiple calls about him.
Okay.
So could it be a bidding war where they could try to squeeze someone.
If people are calling about him, then absolutely yes. You listen to what they have to say. Absolutely.
Yeah, because like I said,
this is a good year, but he's okay.
He's been a first-round talent. We thought in the process he had highlights in Baltimore, but this year, I feel like he's putting together. So we'll see what comes with that. But yeah, like the other players, like what do you do? Like,
yeah, I mean, they got like I said, they got some infielders they can get rid of, like Tommy La Stella, Luis Rengifo, Aldrelton Simmons, and David Fletcher. Although, somebody said that Fletcher's going to come with a pretty penny, so I'm not sure if that's going to happen. And then the other thing they can get rid of is the rest of Justin Upton's contract. Unlikely because he's not been producing in a couple years, but if it's somebody needed somebody like that, maybe they'd want him. Yeah. But like I said, he's not doing great this year. He's doing okay. He had like 3 home runs. He's batting 200. Yeah, it's not a good look.
Yeah. Of course, we already said a couple more names like Johnny Cueto for the Giants. Even though they're coming up strong now, like they're in the prime position to be a playoff. So this is that's the weird thing. Like,
Yaz,
is it going to be where it's like, and Yaz has came up as a possible? Do they flip him?
No. Well, if they're in a contention, you can't. Because if they want to compete
this year, yes, but you got to think about long term. They're rebuilding.
I agree.
This guy's 30 years. He just turned 30.
Yep, that's what we talked about last week.
You have control over this guy for 6 years.
Yeah.
So do you flip him to let someone take over at a cheap base? So the return could be real strong possible for Yaz this year to flip.
I agree. So Yaz is a little bit of older of a player. He's doing killer this year. I think the Giants, if they're in a position to, they should probably look at trading him for some really good talent to get back for future years.
Yeah. Then you have a couple other names. Jonathan Scopes having a good year for Detroit. So if they kind of fall off this week, he could be a person that they can trade real quick because he's more rental. I think he was on a 1-year deal. Kyle Seager is another name for Seattle where they could flip him. He's coming into his contract. I believe that they could see flipping him to Atlanta. Because Austin Riley has not worked out yet for third baseman. That's a hole since Josh Donaldson left last year.
Uh-huh.
They thought maybe Austin would take over. He hasn't. Kyle Seager can be a cheap rest of the season rental to try to get over that hump in the playoffs. Who's it? Trevor Rosendahl for the Kansas City, good bullpen arm. A lot of people are contacting them probably about him. Same thing with Royals. Whit Merrifield, great outfielder. So he has a couple years left on his contract. How much rebuilding is Royals still going to do? So do you flip him now?
He's a guy you build around.
Exactly.
I don't know, man.
He is 31.
Yeah.
So how many years are you rebuilding in Kansas City is the question.
Right. So if you're going to take a 5-year plan to rebuild, he's not going to be part of it.
Whit, I don't think will be just like Josh Bell. I don't think it will happen this trade deadline. But look at these two, like him and Josh Bell, maybe this offseason could be a flip.
Well, if one of those two are in a trade scenario, that could be the big topic of trades this year because those are pretty big players to be getting rid of in this kind of situation.
Yeah. So it depends on the help, what you're giving up, because they have remaining years under control, which could work out for some team if they choose to.
All right.
So that's all really, of course, we'll recap whatever trades do happen next week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it'll be the day after the trade deadline. So we'll see exactly what went down, who got hot this rest of the week to say we're going to go for it and go all in, or who had a terrible week and I don't think we can do this. Let's sell some players.
Okay.
So let's get into some current standings.
All right.
So I guess we make a little adjustment since a one game finally went final. Us and Mets.
All right. Well, since you're adjusting that, let's start out with the AL.
All right. So
AL East.
AL East. The Yankees are leading the cause just because of percentage.
But by
briefly
wins,
right now.
it's the Rays.
Because, since they had the weekend off against the Mets, Tampa Bay was technically leading at one point. Then they had a loss, so now they're back down below them. But at 16-9, the Yankees hold that lead with Tampa Bay at 19-11 in second place. Toronto has gotten hot lately, have creeped back up to that third spot. Baltimore is at 500 at 14-14, and Boston is our first 20-loss team of the year.
Wow, it's crazy, man. We got a couple of teams in 120. We got a team that's lost 20. But yeah, man, I'm liking the Buffalo Blue Jays over there, though.
Yeah,
they're trying to make a run.
They're making a run, and they could be possibly look at another pitching arm to help that. If
they need
make
it.
This run.
They
do.
They will. They really need one.
So it depends on the price is right. They're apparently looking at two of the Pittsburgh guys that could be added arm for them if they keep this hot streak alive. So let's get to the Central next.
Oh, yeah. We got the Minnesota Twins, 20-10. Can you believe it?
Man, we knew that with all those moves this offseason that this could be the team that they want to get past that first round.
Yeah.
And they have done it so far.
Yeah, they've been doing great. That's a great record, in my opinion. 20-10. It's pretty solid. The next is the White Sox, and we've liked them from the beginning, too. They're 17-12, and that's what we liked about them. We said if anybody could be a wild card, it's them. They had a rocky start.
Real rocky.
Yeah, and now they're coming back, and they're doing their thing.
Yep.
We got Cleveland Indians in 17-12, Detroit Tigers 11-16, and Kansas City Royals 11-18.
Yeah. So Detroit has fallen off. So like I said, if they don't do nothing these next couple of games, they'll probably become sellers of the veterans or people who they got 1 year that they could help some teams out.
Well, not so fast. I mean, yes, they've only got 11 wins, but at the same time, when you think about this season, the top two, plus we got a couple of wild cards, there's still a chance because half the field's getting in. You're not technically out.
That's what I said. Like come Saturday, if you are, because you think about it, there's what are they from the lead of the division, 7 games. Really, if you can times it by 2, you're out 14 in the regular season.
I agree.
So it's.
But this isn't a regular season. Yes. It's still 7 real actual games. So if you start winning a couple of them, start winning a little bit of, like at least a couple series here and there, you never know, man.
Yeah. So we'll see in this weekend what they do. So then we move to the West. We still have the red hot Oakland A's at 20-10 as well.
Great. I love what this team's doing.
Houston has came on strong this last week. Yep. They're at 16-13, holding the second spot. Texas has been up and down roller coaster all year.
Mariners
are at 11-17,
and then the
Mariners at 11-19, and then Angels at 9-21.
Angels are 9-21. Me and Alan missed this one. We thought the Angels were actually going to compete this year. I guess Rendon's not going to make the only difference, and if Showtime is not showing up, it's only so
I think
much
because we thought Ohtani pitching.
Yeah, we thought it was going to be like a Babe Ruth situation where he's going to do good on both ends.
Let's see. He had promised before the injury, but man, he had a terrible 2 starts and then sat him for the arm for the rest of the year.
Right, and even though Rendon and Trout might be doing their thing, the rest of the team has to show up.
Yeah, like you said, with Upton not doing well,
Upton's not doing well. Brian Goodwin's doing okay, but not the greatest. I mean,
which they could flip him as well. So
they could.
So we'll see what the Angels do this week if they become a busy team to flip some players. So let's get the National League. So like we said earlier, Atlanta is leading the division at 16-12.
Yep.
Miami is now 13-11. Mets are now 12-15. Washington is 11-15, and then Phillies at 10-14.
Right. So it might look pretty all over the place right now, but what I like about this division right now is that all the teams still have a chance because they all suck. But everybody's within 3 games right now, except for the Braves. But that's okay because there's 2 guaranteed going in from that division.
So if you think about it, all through AL, NL, if you're at least 500, you probably should be in the playoff.
And that's what we were saying before the season started. We knew that a team with a pretty subpar record could have a chance to make it.
So like I said, well, Phillies, they're technically last, but they're
heating
technically
up
4 games out of first place with that terrible bullpen.
Right, which is why they need to make some moves.
So if they can win a couple this week, I think they're playing the Nationals. It was rain delayed earlier, so.
But that's what you need to do. You need to beat your in-division teams.
Because I think, if I remember correctly, they have Nationals and then they have Braves this weekend.
Yeah, and if they take both those series, that helps out everybody.
Then they'll probably get more active come trade deadline Monday.
Absolutely.
So that's why I said, this trade deadline, it depends on what you do this week. Because then you really, after that, you have a third of the season left.
Yeah.
After that, when you get to September. So then we have Central, which is the team that's kind of surprising still, is the Cubs.
Yeah, the Cubs are doing it.
At 18-10, leading that division.
Yeah. And then you look at the second place team. They need to play a little bit more games because the amount of games they've played is the amount of wins the Cubs have.
Yes.
We have the Cardinals at 10-8.
10-8, 3 games out, second place. Then you have Milwaukee at 12-15.
Mm-hmm.
Reds 11-16. We thought this could be that team this year, but they cannot keep it or consistently. Pitching's been there, or the bullpen gives it up, or they'll have a good start. Next start is terrible. Hitting cannot be consistent, hitting home runs.
Well, you know what, though? They are right there in the hunt still. They're right there. If they can escape in, they might change it around and get hot. That's all it takes.
That's why a lot of people were wondering if they were going to flip Tervor Bauer, but they're that close, and they still believe in their team.
And they should. Like I said, there's a couple teams that might be out of it. Let me see.
Pittsburgh next.
I'm going to call the Red Sox out of it just because their division is really tough.
Yeah, you were going to think, Angels,
Pittsburgh,
I said, out. Pittsburgh's
Boston.
Out. And probably the Royals.
Oh, look, I'm not counting Angels out yet. They are very close. Very close. They need to start winning a win streak. But, yeah, they're basically out.
Yeah. So then the West, Dodgers. Like, what can we say about this team? Like, it's just commanding lead.
Yeah, man.
At 22-8.
Right. And since they're doing so well, they're overshadowing the Padres, who are doing pretty good, in my opinion.
Slam City, San Diego.
Yeah. What, they hit 5 grand slams in like 6 days or games or something like that?
Yes, because they had a streak of 4 in a row. Then they didn't do it Friday,
and
but
then
they did it Saturday.
Exactly. Man, Slam Diego, and I love it because they have like a little mannequin or something out there with a Slam Diego.
Like, that streak was insane. Like, and it wasn't it was the same player. It was different players.
And that's how you know your team's going to be doing well, because they're having fun. So that's going to be a team to watch out for. Yeah. Absolutely.
And then the Rockies.
Yeah.
Man, you started 11-2.
Right. What happened since then?
And now you've gone 3-11 since.
Nuts.
Like
that's not supposed to happen.
Terrible stretch.
Even if you just broke 500 after that point, you'd still be good. I mean, they're still good. I mean, they're still in it.
Yeah.
But the fact is, they could be in a solid second place.
And then next you had the Giants, which were looking terrible a couple weeks ago, giving up late inning games. Well, they're on a 6-game winning streak right now.
Exactly. They're not playing around. And that's why I said I'd hate to see them give up Yaz and then suffer this season. But if that's the route they want to go, they'd rather look for the future, because they don't think they can make a huge absolute run in the playoffs.
Like, yes,
year.
we can make positive playoffs, but can we actually win? That's what I think they're thinking about.
Well, you got to believe your team's going to win, or why even put them out there on the field?
And then last in that division technically right now is the Arizona Diamondbacks at 13-17.
Right, but if you look at it as a whole, they're not out of it either. Everybody's right there. They're tight.
So,
and even for a wild card, these teams are still fighting for a wild card, even if they don't finish top 2.
So here's the playoff race as of yesterday. I didn't factor in the win-loss with Miami, which probably didn't really change much. So the AL, the number 1 seed right now would be the Twins. Number 2, the A's.
Okay.
Number 3, Yankees.
Wow.
Then you have Rays, White Sox, Astros as the other 2 teams, the second place in each division. And then your 2 other teams is Cleveland and Blue Jays.
So it basically sounds like the teams that are supposed to be there pretty much are.
Yeah, with the Orioles kind of fading out. They missed the 8th seed right now. So if it finished today, Twins would face the Blue Jays, A's would face Cleveland, Yankees would face the Astros, and then Rays and White Sox would play the first round.
Okay.
So it'd be very interesting. So in the NL, of course, the number 1 seed is the Dodgers.
Easily picked.
Number 2 is Cubs. Okay. 3 is Braves. 4th is the Padres. Then we have the Cardinals. Then the Marlins. And then the 2, wild card teams, I guess, would be the Rockies and then the Giants.
Right. So the National League is still a little bit askewed. Like, we don't really know what's happening here.
Because
it's all over the place. Exactly.
Giants had like a 3.003 over the Mets for the 8th seed. That's how close it is.
Right. And then the Mariners are still making up ground.
So, yeah, the Marlins.
Or Marlins, I'm sorry.
So, Dodgers would face the Giants, Cubs would face the Rockies, Miami would face the Braves, and then Padres and Cardinals would face each other.
Ooh, that's interesting, because if it finished today and you said the Cubs and the Rockies, if the Rockies got hot again, that would put a damper on their parade over there in Chicago. Yeah, so that would be an interesting series, in my opinion.
Yeah, like even man, but the Cardinals and Padres.
Yeah, no, that would be interesting as well. I like what the Padres have been doing, and like you said, the Cardinals are in it to win it. So,
and then, man, if say remember, because the first round is only 3 games,
which is fine.
Think about if the Giants did get in and had to play the Dodgers and force them to 3 games
and beat them. What if they beat them,
dude?
Then your stock for Yaz goes up even higher if that happened. I don't know. I'm just saying, spitballing.
It's gonna be crazy. Like, the next couple of weeks, when we really start paying attention more to the playoff races, and after trade deadline, who's really serious, in about 2 weeks, we'll know for sure. Like, because I'm pretty sure Dodgers in 2 weeks they'll clinch a playoff spot.
Right.
The way they're going.
Right, exactly. And that's what I was saying at the beginning. I was like, we got 60 games. Any team a little bit over 30 is definitely in.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the standings, let's talk about our players of the week who help these help these teams get to their standings.
Yeah. So let's do AL first.
All right. So AL, I didn't pick a pitcher.
Okay.
I'm going to kind of do it on and off in pitchers, but my player is, I'm assuming everybody's player this week, Jose Abreu.
You had to.
How do you not pick this guy?
Dude, that stretch against the Cubs. This weekend at the Cubs, he murdered the Cubs.
He was the murder hornet.
Like 4 straight at bats with home runs.
Nuts. Yeah. So let's talk about his last 7 games. His last 7 games, he bats .533, going 16 out of 30, with 7 home runs, 15 RBIs, 9 runs, and he's got a 1.333 slugging percentage. He helped this team go 6-1.
Yeah.
And we're talking about the old man on the team, right?
The older guy, yeah.
Out
The
of
more
the young
veteran.
kids, yeah.
Which they thought about maybe flipping.
Well, they still could.
Or no, wait, he's re-signed or something. I can't remember exactly what happened.
Yeah, man. Is that who you got?
Yeah, it was a no-brainer this week for the AL for that guy. Like,
No brainer.
Like, it was like looking at him like, he did. Remember this weekend he went off.
Absolutely.
So the funny thing, I actually got his teammate for the AL pitcher of the week.
Okay.
I had Lucas Giolito. He went 1-0,
Giolito.
7 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 walk, and 13 strikeouts.
Nice. Good job, Giolito.
Like he's been
knew you
up
had
and down, but
Yeah.
that game was solid for him. And then Abreu just smashing it. I'm like, well, I got 2 White Sox.
I think me and Alan have a little bit of a soft spot for the White Sox just because all these great players were playing on the AAA farm system
and Charlotte.
by the time we
kinda
were
saw
watching
some of them. Yeah,
Exactly. Like Yohan Moncada and Giolito and everybody come up.
Yeah, because they're all trade chips and
Fulmer.
like I said, 16, I think it was, they dumped everyone and traded and got all these prospects. And
hey, it's paying off.
It is. So
Absolutely.
That's why I say I think Red Sox are about to do the same thing. Like
They
just
should.
dump and man, that baseball organization, Red Sox, are about to flip and
I
be
think
dangerous.
I think it's easier to make that decision as a Red Sox just because their division is so tough that you need to rebuild, and you know it's going to take time because you know you're not going to come out there next year and compete unless you have the best team you can possibly put on the field just because you got to play those teams.
And especially this was your first year, the new president
Yeah.
and the new chief of operation. Like, let's see what this team does. Oh, they're garbage? Yeah, we're getting rid of everyone.
Bye-bye.
So let's go next to our National League Players of the Week.
All right.
Who do you got?
So my National League Player of the Week is Manny Machado.
Same here.
I mean, my man, last 7 games had 3 home runs, 9 RBIs. He's batting .393. He's flashing some old Manny out there.
Yeah, he's finally, like, this is his first Player of the Week by MLB, but as a National League player. He didn't get it all last year. Of course, it's been the Baltimore years before. But, yeah, like, I gave it to him slight over his teammate, Tatis Jr.
Yeah, no, Tatis has been great.
At first, I was like, who's been my Player of the Week? I said, well, it's got to be a Padre this week, the way they've been playing.
Yeah, but I had to tip my hat, give the nod to Manny Machado because he did the thing.
Yeah, which we all thought that he could be that guy. Like, that's why he got the $300 million. And Padres, it was shocking at first, but when they saw the young pieces they had, they could put something together. And last year, unfortunately, Tatis got hurt, so we never saw the full promise. But this year, they're finally kind of putting together. So they're going to get their shot this year, most likely, if they keep it up. So we'll see what Machado can do with his team.
All right, did you get a pitcher?
I did.
Who you got?
I have our old friend Clayton Kershaw.
Oh, Clayton. What's he doing?
So he went 1-0, 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 earned run, and 11 strikeouts. He's now 3-1 on the season with like a 2-point-something ERA.
Man, great job.
So of course, he missed the first 2 starts of the season for his injury, but he's been quietly with the Dodgers. It's just you throw someone out there, I feel like they're gonna get the win almost every other time.
Oh yeah, they should. And he's been the guy there for a long time. So that's great for him. I didn't necessarily pick one, but I had to mention you Darvish. He was playing the game that me and Alan last recorded, so we didn't get to talk about him, and he was throwing a no-no. I think he took it to the 8th inning.
Darvish?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, sorry. Was it not you?
No, it wasn't.
Who was
you.
it?
It was God, why am I having a brain fart right now?
It was an Asian pitcher. Are we agreeing on this?
Yes. It was
Hey, if you're still watching this, let us know who the pitcher was in the comments.
It was Kenta Maeda.
Oh, Maeda, man.
Yeah, I was like,
man, I knew it was an
like-
Asian guy.
Yeah.
All right, so look, then we'll throw it to Kenta Maeda. He got traded this offseason, right? We can agree on that.
Yep, he was the Dodgers. He thought he was a starter. Dodgers thought
He
he
was
was more
a bull guy.
reliever,
Yeah,
so
bullpen.
they flipped him
Well,
to
look,
the Twins.
Look, Maeda was pitching the gym last week. Unfortunately, they kept him out a little too long.
Yeah.
I mean, we knew it. We were watching. He was at 100.
It was being too long, and then also too much time. Those later innings.
Yeah, his team decided they wanted to get on the
to
get some
him
extra insurance runs.
and it was just taking too long between Milwaukee subbing pitchers. It just stretched him out, and he had
And he was already at 100 and what? he was like 110 basically when he came back in to pitch.
Yeah.
But the sadder news is that he didn't even get the no decision. He didn't get the win. They ended up losing it, or they went to extra innings.
And they ended up winning.
Right, but it just messed
it's unfortunate.
him up.
Like the first at bat was a bloop over I think second baseman, so it ended the no. So he got pulled, and then it was a hit, walk to load the bases, and then tied game.
That's nuts, man.
Man, I'm like, I feel bad. Pitch a gym and not even get a W.
Sorry, Kent, I called you, but
Yeah.
Hey,
it's part of the game. Unfortunately, like when he was there, we were watching like it's too many pitches.
Yeah, but I was like, you got to send him back out there because he's throwing it. He's getting out of it. You can't not let him go back out there for the last three.
It was just getting too long.
I know.
I'm like, I don't know. I would probably throw someone else out there.
Yeah, we didn't want to have another Johan moment.
But he's pitched well since then. I think he did one start after that, and I think he got the win as well. Not as no hitter ish, but he still got the W.
It's so sad when you get that close.
Yeah, no decision. One hit over 8 innings, technically. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it for this week. So, like we said, trade deadline's Monday.
Yeah,
we'll see what teams are buyer seller this weekend. A lot of doubleheaders this week.
We'll see if your favorite player goes to another team.
Yeah, it's part of the business. It's not fun, but
we didn't talk about the Mets trade. Are they going to trade anybody?
Like I said, I see going for Walker from Seattle. We already have dialogue with him for the trades. I can see if he's cheap, depending on what Seattle wants for him. Remember, he was on a 1-year deal. He's having an okay year. So what can you really ask for? But Brody said he's not going to be too aggressive. But the only thing really we need is a starting pitcher. Now,
which is nuts.
Now the question is, do we flip one of our shortstops? Is what people are asking.
Do
you flip Ahmed or Jimenez or our other prospect that's down in the minors?
Well, if we have
a possible pitcher or something else,
if we have another prospect, I would feel comfortable getting rid of him. I would almost feel comfortable getting rid of Rosario, but I think he's good. But Jimenez is really good. He could be utility. He could play any position. He's like a Kadire. I like that kid.
Yeah. We need pitching both, I feel like, starting and rotation now.
And I laugh every time you say that because we had an issue like who are we going to keep on the starting rotation preseason?
Yeah. Biggest thing, maybe Matt's does go to the bullpen and figures out which we've been saying for a couple of years now with Matz.
Switch Matz and Lugo.
Is what sound like he is because Lugo is getting ready to pitch the second game tonight. Yep, they just submitted the lineup, so they're probably going to start that here soon.
All right.
Matz used to be solid for 1 or 2 innings. I feel like when it was like the second or third time through the rotation when he exploded. So is it time for him to be a reliever, figure it out, and then he might become a strong reliever?
Yeah.
Like Lugo ended up doing for us because he was a spot starter, a fifth person there for a year or so, and then he just happened to go to the bullpen because we had too many people and became our best bullpen guy. So can Matz do that? Possibly.
Is he willing to do that?
Yeah.
That's the question.
Money's different.
If he's not willing to do that, then he's going to have to get traded.
Yep.
All right. Well, like you said, we'll keep an eye on it. If any big trades happen, best believe we'll talk about them next week.
Yeah, and break it down, see exactly who they gave up and what they had to give up.
And is it worth it?
Yeah. Was it worth it for just this season, or was it worth it because it's extra years with it? So we'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Hey, Bill, I'm in the mood for a switch up. I hit the function, hit the rose till I hiccup. I hit the stage and leave with money that's a stick up. She picture perfect, so I told him I'm a flick up. Bill, I'm in the mood for a change up.